This is Voices and Visions,
Kenya is
truly the land of manifestations.
a podcast profiling Africa's business pulse through the people shaping it.
I don't think Kenya gets enough credit for how well it manages relationships.
Recorded in Nairobi, this season looks beyond headlines and funding rounds to understand how capital moves, how trust is built,
As much as I have a lot of respect for what Starbucks has done for the coffee community in the world, they wouldn't survive here.
and how companies scale in real conditions.
You are the owner of an electric mobility company that has no means of transportation of its own.
This podcast is produced by Tutto Passa Agency. Welcome to the Silicon Savannah. Today I'm speaking to Peter and Andrew.
We move about a third of the GDP of the country on this system.
Both work at Safaricom, which is Kenya's dominant mobile operator company and the company that launched M-Pesa. I mean, I've heard a comment from someone who said if M-Pesa goes out for 10 minutes, this economy will collapse. He started off as a product and has become a national financial infrastructure. Safaricom has the ambition to become Africa's purpose-led tech company by 2030. And this is why I'm joined by Peter, head of super apps, and Andrew, CEO of International Money Transfer Services. As we start, you need to help me understand a few things. You need to help the audience understand a couple of things. So I'm joined by both of you. We have Peter and Andrew. Maybe Peter, you first tell me about your role, and then Andrew, you tell me what you do.
That's fine. Okay. So I could tell you also a little bit more about myself.
Yeah.
I've been at Safaricom for about 18 years, since 2007.
Yeah.
I've held various roles, started off in engineering and product development, moved on into innovation, into strategy, business development, moved into the group CEO's office, running strategic operations. And I am now heading our super apps, which is our plan to give full digital experience to all, our customers in Kenya, upgrading them from the current experience they have, giving them much better, infusion of what the world is going to be like into the future.
Yeah.
So in my current role, I'm looking after digitizing two sides of the business.
Yeah.
We have a large complement of businesses that work with us on business services. So we have a business app that we have developed for them and we continue to enhance. Allows businesses to manage all their business activities with us, from payments to the other services that they have,
Reporting,
the telecom services.
admin, credits.
All of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have on the consumer side, the consumer app or the consumer super app, which is a combination of lifestyle and digital services. And our digital services include telecommunications capabilities that we provide, as well as payments capabilities, plus, e-commerce and other lifestyle activities that you require.
Yeah.
So we are rebuilding that now. We expect to launch it sometime late February, early March.
Oh,
so just
we can
in the
promote
next
it with
few
the
weeks,
episode.
That
would be good.
So we hope it will be received well. Initial indications indicate there is good acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And Andrew, tell me about you.
yeah, fantastic. First, let me DC.
Yeah.
Chief, 18 years. As old as M-Pesa is. As old as M-Pesa is
I
in
tell
this country.
you. Yeah.
Okay. So interestingly, like him, I don't think I've seen an institution for that long. I've worked in different institutions for the last decade or so, 2 decades in payment space, basically. So I've worked in the government institutions, fintechs, 2 telcos, banks, and so just around payment. So I started off with Postbank and around remittances. Then I joined another fintech, introduced a couple of remittance companies in the country, Express Money, RIA, and the like. Then Imperial Bank, one of the best banks, was dealt a lot of digital payments, mobile banking, internet banking, remittances, card payments, ATMs, among the first group to really push ATMs in this country. Then moved that again to InterSwitch, East Africa, dealt again a lot more around cards and processing and payments, Visa, working with Visa, MasterCard, and the like. Then moved into Airtel Africa. And so Airtel is one of our main competitors as Safaricom. And just again, so worked around payments and mainly around remittances, building the Airtel Money business around remittances. Then to KCB, group. And
So you went from mobile to banking to mobile banking to mobile banking.
Yes, I've just been jumping
seen it
around.
all, yeah.
I've seen it all. But then also again, then KCB dealt again around remittances, grew the remittance business, then a lot of partnerships, things to do with the payment systems for churches, for schools, government digitization.
Yeah.
Then to Equity Bank, dealing again with diaspora banking, remittances and payments. And then that acclimated landing me in Safaricom. I've been in Safaricom for circa a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And then basically what I do is there's a subsidiary called Safaricom Money Transfer Services Limited that is fully owned by Safaricom. And what it does, it deals again with payments, and these are cross-border payments. So, and remittances. All the money that comes into the country from, outside our borders into the country.
Yeah.
Any payments you want to make outside, and that's what I handle. That's what I run. So work closely with Peter and among other colleagues, because if you look at the super apps, then how do you bring in those payments? Because that's the access point of our customers.
Yeah.
So also that things are products. So you might not see me at the forefront, but we use the same M-Pesa wallets. We use the super apps, and that's how they get to our customers. But then for me, it's just bringing funds from across.
Yeah, because international payments has often been an issue within this continent. We're seeing a lot of fintechs coming up out of Nigeria currently, also that are really focusing on international payments. What is the biggest blocker for good international payments from Kenya?
So international payments, two things happen, and one is when you look at the different fintechs that come up. What's the KYC? Where's the source of money? There's a lot of conversation around source of money and KYC. Of the particular person. Think about the stories with Minnesota, just ensuring that your system is not being used to then channel this money that is not legally owned, legally acquired.
Yeah.
I also think about money laundering. That's a big issue that comes up.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the regulator then is very strict, and so it takes a lot of time to really really go through the kind of partnerships you're having and who is it you're talking to. And so we as Safaricom take a lot of time to understand the partners we're partnering with. So just to ensure that we don't find ourselves in the wrong side of the law, and also we don't also encourage any use of our systems for illegal funds acquired. So that's the biggest challenge that we have today.
Yeah.
In terms of are there systems and platforms that work? Yes, the systems and platforms work. With different countries, different levels. But I'll say in Kenya and East Africa generally, they work, systems work.
Yeah.
And you're able to receive your money instantly. It's instant remittances. And they do.
I'm being joined by...
Just
a good guest.
Don't kill it.
I'll just leave it over here. It'll go away.
But just to chime in on that, Kenya has been lucky because we have digitized our identification, unlike most African countries. So you can actually tell who a person is.
Who is owning these accounts.
Second is we have been very successful at connecting the country in terms of how many people have access to connectivity. And on top of that, we have then been able to create this digital financial ecosystem that allows people to receive all of that remittance onto their wallet. So the KYC side is handled as part of your registration into the mobile money ecosystem. Then you can seamlessly receive, funds there, and any, compliance stuff is handled on the basis of that. Many African countries struggle with that. You have to move from where you are, go to a physical location, show some proof of identity which you may not have, possibly communicate with whoever sent for you to know, exactly what you are going to say. It's very complex today.
It's very complex, And some countries even don't have one national ID. See, like in Kenya, just to his point, with our 40 million plus customers, if you look at the last census, we have around 55 million Kenyans, but already Safaricom, from a perspective of the mobile wallets, 30-day active is around 40 million.
40 out of 55 million Kenyans have access to Safaricom.
So Safaricom mobile, M-Pesa, that's M-Pesa. But in terms of how many of them have GSM or access, Safaricom is 50 million plus. But the thing is, we also only have one ID. It's only one ID that identifies you. So some countries struggle. You have some countries, like some of our neighboring countries, where you find a chief can give you a letter that becomes identification. So how do you verify that, right? You go to some countries, you find that even the same country, there are still kingdoms. So you find people will say that I have this ID that identifies me with this particular kind of anarchy. And so when you come to Kenya, then that doesn't happen. To his point, it's only one ID, and that one ID can be verified, and there are ways of verifying it. So that has made life quite easy and access quite
easier
easy
to
for
build
Kenya.
products on true identification already.
Exactly. Yeah.
But maybe let's go back a little step, right? Because you've mentioned a few terms now. We have Safaricom and we have M-Pesa, or mobile money.
Yeah.
So Safaricom is a company that built M-Pesa.
Yes.
You were there?
Yeah.
Were you there?
I came just when they had launched.
Okay.
Because they launched in March 2007.
Yeah.
I joined the company later in the year in 2007.
Yeah. You were like, it looks like this might be working. Let me join.
Coincidentally, we had a lot of discussions before I joined, and I never knew that I would join about this thing Safaricom is planning to do, because they had piloted it for about 2 years, from 2005 to 2007. So we had many discussions with people. Oh, this thing looks interesting. This thing could do a lot of stuff. Only to find myself in the company a few months later.
So tell me what was going on in Kenya in 2007 that kind of allowed M-Pesa to start up operations?
Oh, quite a number of things were at play. And if you look at it, say, from March 2007 to March 2008, that 1 year where we ended up having 1 million users on M-Pesa, multiple things were happening.
Yeah.
The first that was good is we had good critical mass on the telecom services in Safaricom, which was, or in Kenya in general, which was about 50% of the users, of 50% of the population actually.
We're using it to make phone calls.
We're using it
text.
to make phone calls.
Yeah.
That 50%, part of the things that had been introduced was mobile credit, for example, where you could request to, you don't have a place to buy airtime to top up your line. You get a credit service, and in the morning when the shops open, you buy and replenish, and you have paid off your debt.
Yeah.
We had adoption of pseudo-digital services quite, to a quite high degree, maybe 80% of the 50% that we had. That was the first. So the network, or telecom network, was quite, widespread. Adoption was quite good. Second, we had cracked the identity side as a country.
Yeah.
So national IDs started being issued in 1990s, 94, 95, 96. Yeah.
94, 95.
Did you prepare for this episode? Or?
Just facts. And, that by the time we were getting 2005, almost every adult actually had an ID.
Okay. Yeah.
For you to participate in elections, and we had quite a number of heated elections in the various years, you had to have a national identity card and a voter's card. I mean, they used to go together. So you had most of the adults actually taking, and it was a prideful thing to actually take your identity card. That allowed people to access various other things.
Yeah.
Banking was not well penetrated, and there was not enough focus on those who are considered low tier,
Underbanked.
Underbanked. Those who are not the focus of banks. They used to look for employed people only. Today, which is so many years later, the people in formal employment are still only about 5 million of the population. About less than 10%. You can imagine how small a number that was. So majority of the population was excluded. Over 90% were excluded.
How did they exclude them? Is that by saying you need a minimum amount to be able to open an account? Or if you don't show us a work contract, we are not opening it? Or
it was...
It was crazy. You even had to...
You needed an introducer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you needed a referral.
You need a referral, somebody with a bank account.
That bank, first of all.
To bring you in. That's the first.
Yeah.
The second, you need to maintain a minimum account. The third, you need to maintain minimum transaction volume for you to maintain the account.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember one time in 2005 or thereabouts, one bank, international bank operating here, decided to shut down
all the
bank accounts that had a minimum balance of 5,000 shillings. If you had 5,000 shillings at the time or less, they closed your bank account, said, come for your money, and actually closed branches in many parts of the country.
There are even banks that were asking to come with an introduction letter from your employer to actually prove that you're actually employed.
Wow.
So for them to, you can try imagine, if you look at the population for Kenya today, and even look at, like today, the biggest, the youth are more, the majority, 65% are below. They're not even employed today.
Yeah.
So at that particular point, they're doing hustles, what we call hustles, rather they're just trying to make ends meet. And then now the bank tells you, sorry, we can't bank you. So even credit was an issue then. At one point, I remember in this country, even there are not more than 10,000 mortgages. Ideally, out of a country of 55 million people.
10,000 mortgages, that's it?
Imagine,
that's
a
it.
drop in the ocean.
So it's a drop in the ocean.
There were ridiculous requirements like bring a proof of residence.
But you're buying a house to get a proof of residence. It's like chicken and egg.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the way it was set up,
it was.
It wasn't for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the banking environment.
Banking environment was, another critical thing that was underdeveloped. So then we had no simple ways of moving cash around.
Yeah.
So
which is cash heavy, which is dangerous.
Yeah, which is dangerous. So there are a lot of muggings, lost cash. You had to put in money in a trusted hand to deliver to your parent, for example. We have a lot of rural-urban migration. We have always had in Kenya quite a high rural-urban migration. The guys who move to the urban areas then end up sending money back home to support. That you used to get a bus driver, hope the bus driver is trustworthy enough to deliver. Sometimes
sounds like a bus driver would be a very good job to have at that time.
That time was
it was lucrative then.
Great to be a bus driver.
So, there was a huge combination. So, come M-Pesa, and the first thing you say, okay, you don't have to worry about sending money home. Just get into the wallet, one simple message to the other person, and they can pick up this anywhere. So that the solution was damn stupid, very simple.
Yeah.
Anybody, whether you are learned or not, you could use it, you could do it. It was very simply designed. The second bit is, by the time it was being launched, the CEO at Safaricom at the time, Michael Joseph, made sure that there was capillarity in the country. Places where people would say, if I have money, where can I get my money out? Because at the time, we didn't have many use cases for closing the ecosystem or enabling you to pay from within the ecosystem.
The cash needs to go into this mobile wallet, and only then can you use it to do
for you to use it. We didn't have ways for you to use it in the wallet when it started. So you had to get the money out for you to use it for shopping or whatever the case was. So the biggest issue at the time was that capillarity. Where can I get my money out? So that also was well developed. Everywhere, by the time they were launching, everywhere in the country you could walk a few minutes and get your money out. But when you fast track to...
Before you fast track, just to make a comment around that, even the political environment then was very enabling for business. Because we had just come from a multi-party to now where we had, from one single party to a multi-party. So again, there was a lot of freedom in terms of business was thriving, people are doing well. Then the currency was very strong. So one of the things I remember, because I remember where the guys, Safaricom was begging people to paint your shops green, and just make sure that people can come and withdraw money, what he's talking about, the agent ecosystem. And so at that point, there's a lot of businesses that were thriving. So it was easy, even for Safaricom then, to be able to find shops where they can be able to say, okay, we think from this particular kind of business you do, we'll paint your shop, we'll renovate it. It was an ingenious idea. Just paint your shop, we'll renovate it for you, become an agent. And what that means is people can come and deposit money into the ecosystem to send money. It was just as simple as that. And they can also be able to withdraw and get their physical cash. So we are going to put some grills for you, add security. Remember, I spoke about muggings and the like. So the environment then was also very enabling in terms of the economic environment, also the political environment. Even in terms of regulation, because remember now you've come from a single party, you've come now to a lot of multi-party. Everyone's trying to prove that, you know what, we can do this and we can do something different. The world is looking at you. So even the politicians then, in terms of the ministers and the regulations also then, were willing to try out new things. So it became at a point where you're approaching if you hear the story from Michael Joseph then, when he was a group CEO, and then you can be able to tell how you went to the minister, you went to talk to the president, how you talked to the regulators to get their approval. There was appetite to try new things. So it enabled that because I mean, this is new. I'm used to getting cash, giving to a bus driver. Here, you're telling me I'm just on a text. The other person receives money. Wow. So those things then enabled a lot. The environment really enabled a lot of that to be able to make it happen. Today, there are very many use cases that then apply into it for you to be able to use it. But then it was just a simple thing, just sort of black tax.
Yeah.
And worked.
Because I mean, I was so surprised about the ease of it, right? I mean, if we look at all the tools that we have in Europe and the amount of bank accounts I have and the amount of, every year there's like this new one. I'm like, I'll try this one out as well. And it's all difficult. There's all extra logins, and the M-Pesa model is so easy. So it's the code attached to your ID, right?
The phone number.
To your phone number.
Yeah.
So you need an ID to buy a SIM card.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, then the SIM card, you put it in the phone.
Yes.
The SIM card then gives you a code, which is your unique wallet code.
Doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Your phone
number is
Your phone number is
your wallet.
That's
code.
your wallet.
Okay, and then what I saw in a lot of places, so I can pay with mobile money at the supermarket, and then there's another code that they display.
Yes.
So that is the code
for the merchant side, for the business.
Yeah.
So for the business to receive payments,
Yeah.
they have their identity, which is that number.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So they don't need a business bank account and all that.
Yeah.
Just that simple 6-7 digit number.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So one thing that is a bit interesting though is, so at the time the Kenyan government, you said, is open to
Exploration.
explore this, right? So Safaricom or M-Pesa is a good example, a good solution for the banks that weren't being forced to support bringing people access to banking solutions, right? So then what happened is you guys stepped in and you created an infrastructure that wasn't there, that was able to tap into that market. Has at the same time, have banks started to become more welcoming to these underbanked consumers, or has M-Pesa been this, is it just a layer that is now there, right? So it's M-Pesa and then there's a bank. So you still need a minimum amount of money or payments that you make per month to be able to access actual banking products.
So the answer that is banks have become more welcoming.
Okay.
I think when M-Pesa now came and trying to get everyone into the ecosystem, banks then realized, hold up, we think there's a business opportunity right here, right? But you have banks that have been there for a while. The banks that their business model is specifically targeted to the below the bottom of the tier, so bottom of the pyramid, so to speak about. And so over time, more and more banks as they're opening. Then we used to have around, when M-Pesa started, we used to have around 44 banks. Today they're less than 30. They're less than 40. I think they're around 37 because of, and we expect them to get consolidation has happened. Expect that to go on with the new regulations. However, then M-Pesa also embedded itself into the banks. And how that then happened is, when you think about it, remember initially it was go to the bank, get cash, go to an agent.
Yeah,
right.
Go to the bank, get cash, go to an agent, load the money into your account, then use it for any type of payment,
exactly.
right? Okay, yeah.
So by the end of the time, we said, look, let's get in. And I must say, M-Pesa is just ingenious. Let me give a practical example. When I was in Imperial Bank, they came and said, you guys want to push mobile banking. So you know what we're going to do as Safaricom? We are going to put our staff in your banking halls to get your customers to sign up for mobile banking. But what was the intention of Safaricom? I'm trying to think. What was the intention of Safaricom trying to do that? Was the fact that the more people who started using the mobile banking for the banks, the more people could move money from their mobile bank, from their accounts using their mobile banking into M-Pesa and utilize it. So that then kept on increasing the reach into it. And so even as the banks now are trying to get into the lower pyramid and the cadre of the poor and unbanked, you still see Safaricom is still having the same bank. So today you have both. You have the mobile wallet and you still have your bank account. Yeah. So that focus changed. We think we brought it out and guys saw there's an opportunity right there.
Yeah. And when M-Pesa was starting off, Safaricom tried to engage multiple banks to come and partner. And none of them were willing. Yeah. Actually, a tier 3 bank at the time is the one that said, okay, let's try with you, see what's the worst that can happen. Yeah. When the rest of the banks saw how this service has really transformed access to financial services, they started saying, okay, is there an opportunity to collaborate? And there had been a big discussion at the time. So should we allow other banks to come? Before they were treating us badly, they went to complain to close the service. They say, okay, then, can we do it with just this one bank? What should we do?
Shut this thing down. It's going to kill us.
Then finally said, you know what? It is better for everybody if we have as many of the banks into the ecosystem as well. Yeah. And to Andrew's point, they came in and, started the integration, started working with us. Quite a number of the banks at the time started saying, okay, there is opportunity. There are banks which had been built from bottom up as addressing the bottom of the pyramid. Equity Bank is a good example. Cooperative Bank is another one. And those have continued to diversify that area. But the larger banks also looked at it and said, okay, the biggest issue they had was the costs of doing the service. Cost of servicing the lower bottom of the pyramid customers.
Yeah.
So they decided, instead of us then having very expensive brick and mortar models, how can we leverage Safaricom and M-Pesa to help us service these clients without having to do a lot of brick and mortar? And they have over time developed very good solutions. So you can open a digital account without having to work with a bank, and you can use that account for everything. You will get a virtual card that you can, use for any card payments and so on and so forth. So the banks have really shifted the way they perceive the bottom of the pyramid. It looks like the cost of service was the biggest issue they used to have. Now, identity was another, but identity has been solved as well as part of this process. So today we see a big shift. Now Safaricom is integrated to all the banks in the country.
Whichever tier.
Safaricom M-Pesa is the primary collection point for all their monies in the market. So they try to do models like agency banking to augment against having brick and mortar, branches and stuff. That didn't work out well. It seemed to be too expensive for them. But Safaricom's agent network was there, and they are leveraging it now. So, you can just deposit your money. Some banks you'll see are also leveraging our pay bill, the services that we have for businesses, and using those to get money collected from businesses and so on and so forth. So now it is very well intertwined into the core financial ecosystem of the country.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a comment from someone who said if M-Pesa goes out for 10 minutes, this economy will collapse to a certain degree. Or it will come to a halt, let's call it that.
That means a lot. When you think about the number of transactions we do per second. So also to assist that doesn't happen, over time also we have invested a lot in infrastructure from a technical perspective. So it got to a point where our systems could do 5,000 transactions per second, and we're already hitting that. So even recently, we now did what we call FinTech 2.0. And what that then enables us is to push more transactions up to around 10,000 transactions per second. So you can try to imagine, if you're talking about 10 minutes, on a daily basis, we have 22 million customers transacting on the M-Pesa system.
So 1/3 of this country is making an M-Pesa transaction every day. Yeah.
So now push that. Like we said, remember we started before it was just to load cash and send money. Now there are very many things into it, right? So we have credit into it, we have put insurance into it, we have put wealth into it, we're even now doing trading. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Into it now, we have all these diaspora flows coming through. So there's a lot of transactions happening. So on every second, at least we know we process over 7,000 transactions per second.
7,000 transactions per second.
So you can try imagine now if you're talking about 10 minutes, just do the math.
I can't, but I know it's a lot.
The way to visualize what would happen is you have a person who is paying for entry into the national park. You have a person who is paying their taxes.
Person paying their groceries.
Somebody paying for a hospital bill or to be admitted to hospital.
School fee somewhere.
It is... It's everywhere. And you think about all those transactions across the country. If you have a delay for 10 minutes, the impact is significant.
Yeah.
Actually, is time. I think we had that about 3 years ago.
Yeah, even before. This is why we had to move our servers.
But that time it wasn't as embedded as now.
What happened?
So 3 years ago, we had 1 January. Well, at least we're in February now. And touch wood, it doesn't happen now.
Yeah, please.
But we had a blip on the system due to some security misconfiguration that happened.
Yeah.
And the system, was off for almost half an hour.
Uh-oh.
Man, we had serious I mean, the president himself was calling every few
He's like, I
minutes.
can't pay my barber. What's
Say,
going on, guys?
What is happening?
But the country was up in arms. The country was, what's happening? What's happening?
I mean,
we can't do is our money safe. He's doing too many things, man.
We move about a third of the GDP of the country on this system.
Yeah.
When you have a blip for this short period, the actual impact on the economy is not only transactions that are not complete, it is also business that cannot happen. It's also a functional environment within your country's economic activities that is shut down for a while. It's like having demonstrations where everything is shut down for a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. So we try, as Andrew has said, to invest continuously to make sure the system remains robust. This is one of the critical things. I think when we were catching up, we spoke about this. The regulator has been looking at us as both a strategic asset. M-Pesa is a strategic asset that enables the ecosystem and the economy, but could also be a strategic risk if something like this were to happen.
Yeah.
If it was,
the reliance is huge.
Exactly, the impact is significant, and we invest both in people and systems as well as in physical infrastructure. So we have our M-Pesa platform running in 3 diversically physical location.
Yeah.
But it is on, in the technical terms, what they say, always on, connected, where all 3 sites are running at the same time. All 3 locations have the same data from all transactions at the same time. If one was to fail, the other 2 pick up. If 2 were to fail, the last one would still pick up all the transactions, just to ensure we don't have that blip.
Yeah. So you've had to make a lot of investments in securing your infrastructure.
Yes.
And you've also probably been expected to by the government.
Yeah. So we have contingencies upon contingencies. So even on the 3 sites he's talking about, even if you look at, in terms of even their sites and where they are, even they themselves, if one part of it was to go down, then another part picks up. So they're not 100% operating in one time.
Yeah.
They're operating so that in case something happens, another thing can pick up. So there are contingencies upon contingencies. Just to ensure that doesn't happen. Yeah. And even sometimes when people think the servers they're not even there. So because ideally, when you think about it, is there even the physical risk of damage if it ever happens. Then you also need to be careful around that. Yeah. And on top of that also is just ensuring that even if it happened, you didn't even know as a customer. You didn't even notice it as a customer. No. Because immediately your transaction just will process through, it's really... It
will be rerouted, but it will get there.
It will be automatic.
It will be automatic. You won't even notice. You won't even know anything happened. Yeah.
Under the business continuity planning, we test the shutoffs of different sites throughout the year. Say, okay, shut off that site, let's see. And shut it off during the day when people are using. Transactions seamlessly continue on the other. You let it remain that way for say 5 days to just see what will happen. Bring it back up and see, and we continue to do those type of things and make continuous investment because we are also clear and responsible as a company that we play a strategic role today in the economy, and it is upon us to remain custodians of a healthy, ecosystem that we are providing. Yeah.
And the ability to make payments. I think what I find so interesting when I look at it with my Western lens. So I live in France, and I've been trying to open a bank account for my business now for 4 weeks, and I've been sent from waitlist to waitlist. I've been asked for more documents and more documents because I'm a Dutch citizen. I can't even get my French personal bank account opened because they have delays. So I currently can't make any transactions through French banking systems.
Right.
What else is going on with the French banking system? If you make a transfer in France, if you do it before the weekend, it takes you 48 hours. It will arrive on Monday.
Settlement. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my old job, my salary used to be sent to me on the 21st. If the 21st was on the weekend, it would only arrive on the 24th.
If it was on a Friday.
If it was on a Friday, I was broke till Monday.
You had to take credit for the weekend.
I wasn't even allowed to do that because they would be like, "Who do you think you are? You already have enough credit." No. But when I look at these systems, you guys have provided an access to many different types of materials that, because in our overregulated environment, are going to take us so long to get. Right? If I want health insurance, I can try and get it online, But then I have to go through process of KYC and my health insurance. I have a different password for my health insurance than for my bank account. And for my credit, I might have to go to a completely different bank. And if I want a mortgage, I need to start negotiating with 8 of them to see where I can get the best thing.
Yeah.
If I want to make a transfer, it will take me 48 hours unless I decide to pay by cash. And then if I want to pay by card in anything that is a shop, I need to have a minimum spend of 10 euros, or I can go to the ATM and take out my 10 euros so I can pay for my coffee with coins.
My goodness.
Yeah. So when I arrived here, I was like, oh, this looks easy. Nice. This is great. You got what do you...
And you should speak to the business owners as well. The experience.
The experience is...
And let's say, okay, let's leave the opening the account stuff, but just the settlement side. So I'm sure, okay, when you use the card, I don't know how long it takes to settle for the bank, for the business,
actually
for it
business,
to reflect on their side, for example.
If you use a card, it practically takes 3 to 4 days
Imagine
before
that
money reflects in the account.
So the business possibly is taking...
French bank accounts take approximately 4 days. In the Netherlands, we have instant transfers now.
Because of the open banking.
Yeah.
Because of the open banking, it works.
You can do. And here, we have had... At the time, it was a pain because businesses would wait even up to 7 days. Reconciliation between banks. Even banks themselves, you used to have a problem. You opened your account in Kitisuru and you are transacting in Lavington. The same bank. They'll say, oh, your account is still in Kitisuru. We need to do some settlement. We'll confirm to you later. I mean, it is...
4 to 8 business weeks.
But today with M-Pesa, everything is instant. Actually, from 2000, and so we started the pay services towards the beginning of 2008. We started integrating businesses and doing business payments. The most amazing thing for businesses was a customer has paid, it reflects in my account immediately. I am able to reconcile immediately.
Yeah, you're able to reinvest. You're
able to buy new stock. You're able to do it without picking credit. Because the biggest thing was, okay, I have a stock out. I'm saying my things are moving. Customers have paid, but I don't have money yet. Yeah. I either go for credit or I go for supplier financing. I go...
And getting credit that time is a big problem. Because again, you have to go to the bank and explain to the bank, now I want to credit.
And the bank doesn't want to give you it because you can't even have an account.
Risky, you don't even emotionally sure you are, what kind of business. The banks also refusing to recognize the transactions done on M-Pesa for a while. But of late, now that has changed because they're also realizing that everyone
cash
is
flow
paying
is
on
also
that system.
important. Yeah.
So that will help you to understand the kind of level of business the person is doing.
And the banks have gotten to the point where they have also realized how much more value they can get from M-Pesa. So today, instant transfers for banks for multiple things, sometimes even interbank transfers are done via M-Pesa.
Really?
By the banks themselves, yes. Because the settlement is instant.
Instant.
They don't have to wait for end-of-day reconciliations. Everything is done seamlessly by the system without them having to hassle. They have their interbank, connectivity. They have the instant payment platform, but even that shuts down at 4 p.m. So
4:15 if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yes.
But the customers got so used to the habit of when I pay, I receive. If somebody sends me money, I see it, I can use it now. Why are you telling me to wait for tomorrow?
I heard that as well from someone who said, if I don't see the blip in my phone immediately that the money is received, then you are lying to me because that money is always there when right after you click send.
When you click send, the money is there immediately.
And like in the West, we're like, oh, we'll see. Maybe it'll arrive after the weekend.
Then we'll discuss whether you sent it or not.
And then you're like, oh, and then you have to check. It's like a trust thing as well, right?
Yeah. And then you think about even just to point about settlements. So also the other thing that we then helped a lot with M-Pesa is ensuring a 24-hour economy.
24-hour economy.
Because, I mean, if money is on your phone, just send it to me. The amount of business that happens in Kenya at night is a lot. There's a lot of business. Eateries, you find
I've
discos.
been in a few clubs. You can get so much food there.
You can get
a lot of fun.
But
a lot of fun,
So they've been secure enough. Even there are places you go and they tell you, cash only. No cash.
No cash.
No cash.
Yeah, no cash. Cashless.
Cashless. It's just right there, cashless. So if you have M-Pesa or a card, then they're okay with it. And so again, as Safaricom, then that made us start thinking around and say, so what's a lifestyle of people? So how else do we incorporate this and make it part of your lifestyle?
Yeah.
as long as I have my phone. So there's a funny story told about our group CEO. There's a time he flew out of the country, and guess what? He forgot his wallet. But what did he have with him? His phone.
He's too used to not carrying anything else, because you can do everything you want. You can pay for any service. You can get any type of activity that you want to do from the phone. Sometimes you forget, and when you are out is when you realize, it's not ubiquitous globally yet.
Yes, but we're working on that. So today, when you think about it, if I leave my wallet at home, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
But if I leave my phone at home, I will turn back to go and look for it.
Yeah.
Literally, it is. So what we then did started incorporating our services, both crediting. So today,
sorry, what? I can't hear you. Just you started it?
So we brought credit.
Credit services.
It's real time. So even if I want to pay for something and I don't have enough money, it's automatic. The credit is automatic. It just picks and enables you to pay. So the embarrassment of their standing there trying to think, I don't have enough money. That kind of a thing. You give your card, it swipes, it fails because of insufficient funds. You got to code 51, someone else. So to avoid all that I want to make a payment, 2,000 shillings. I have only 1,000 shillings on my M-Pesa. There's a credit limit.
It's like a mobile credit card, basically.
Yeah.
It's a mobile credit card.
So it picks and you pay and you walk out, then you figure out to pay it later.
Actually, it's a mobile overdraft.
It's a mobile.
Actually, overdraft is a better way to describe it.
Yes.
And the basic thing was we looked at the customer behavior. We have customer behavior both on the telecom side, how you call, how much you top up, how much you spend on that side, together with how you transact on M-Pesa. And said, okay, so how do we identify the best, credit limit or overdraft limit we can give you? And we made it available to our customers. So whenever you are you don't have any more money in your wallet, you can consume this overdraft. It's called Fuliza.
Yeah.
And you can, today people say, I will Fuliza. Yeah. And, it's become part of lingo.
Yeah, it's Friday, I'll Fuliza.
I'll Fuliza, And when I'll top up on Monday. When my pay comes.
When my pay comes, So that thing of you starting 21st, 24th, you don't have to worry about it. It's right there.
But,
also the kind of...
but just about the Fuliza, right? So does everyone then have access to that? Fuliza? And is it also, does everyone get the same amount that they can do? Or is that based on their transaction behavior?
So to answer your question in two, sorry, Peter. To answer your question, one, does everyone have access? It's available. You have to opt in, though. You have to opt in. It's credit.
For it,
So you have to opt in and say, I want to Fuliza. And then a limit is calculated for you and given. It's not the same for everyone. Yeah. It has a lot to do with, like you mentioned, your GSM. In terms of the mobile data, how you spend, also, you've been with us, and also how you spend on your M-Pesa wallet. Yeah. So then that limits will be different. We will have some limits of 1,000, others 7,000, others 20,000. That just depends on your usage and how you spend on it. Yeah. So I don't know what you want to add,
true. Yes, your repayment behavior helps you to improve, Fuliza and your activity. Yeah. And we continue to reassess. We continue to have new customers coming into our ecosystem. Yeah. So they'll stay a while, create some history with us. Then we add those customers also into the Fuliza ecosystem. Yeah. So it's a continuous, upgrade of the limits based on usage and behavior, as well as creating credit profiles for customers who are joining our ecosystem.
Actually, it's gotten to a point where you actually you request for the limit upgrade yourself. You do it on your phone. Just go to your phone and say, refresh my limit. And it's fresh. So we don't refresh it blanket for everyone. So now you've got to a point where if you're happy with your limit, let us say that. But if you want to refresh and increase it, just refresh. And based on your habits.
Which is interesting feedback that we got, from customers. So we thought people would be happy to have refreshed limits because for almost 99% of our customers, refreshed limits mean higher limits. Yeah. Then we met a few customers and said, why did you give me a higher limit? Why did you give me a higher limit?
If customers say, reduce my limit. It's too high.
Yeah, it's too different. I'm spending.
Exactly.
So in terms of ensuring that we have not reasonable, credit that somebody can manage, responsible credit limits, then we made it such that you can request for a refresh yourself. So that it is within your abilities.
Yeah. So let's talk about what other types of credit there currently is. Because I had a conversation yesterday about Boda drivers.
Yes.
So these are guys that buy a motorcycle and they use some form of credit for it and say that motorcycle costs 150,000. if you then look at their annualized interest at the end, they're paying 300,000 for that bike. But they are also not necessarily responsible people who take credit, right? A lot of them don't have any formal employment. Some of them don't even have a driver's license, I heard. But they do still get access to this credit, which gives them access to the Boda Boda, which then they end up paying way more for. Is the reason that this is happening with these types of credit or short-term credit because these credit providers are allowing everyone to get certain types of credit, and because they don't have enough data about the people who they are giving credit to.
So the way to look at that is this. When you look at credit, there's a credit providers and there's a risk owner. So the person who brings in the funds, of course, is a risk owner because it's a risk about the money, losing the money. So then there's a platforms that provide the credit, right? So when you look at Kenya, the way it is, we have the banks, of course, the microfinances, we have the digital credit lenders. Also, then, of course, we have the mobile network like us. They also give credit.
And the Shylocks.
Yes. Then
and the what?
Shylocks.
What is that?
So we'll talk about Shylocks in a minute.
Okay, I like that.
We'll talk about it in a minute. But so when you think about it, the demand is there. The demand for money is there. Demand. And again, remember our population. We spoke about our population, how many guys in formal employment. So there's demand for people who want to make money. So demand for credit is there to go and try new things. So you talk about the Boda, that's just one level of business. People will borrow credit for buying agricultural stuff, cows to farm and the like. So there's a lot of demand for credit. But again, because of the risk, all the banks are saying, look, I don't think you're too risky. I want to give you credit. But there's a digital lender somewhere who is willing to say, I'll give you credit. However, the risk is too high, so the interest rate is very high.
It's really high,
right? So because of that, then you find that you end up paying almost 5% per month. Calculate that it's 60%, sometimes even 100+% over the year. And now here's the credit. Then the credit works just like insurance. The more people I lend, I'll get an NPL, non-performing loans for sure. But when you look at the percentage of the rate I'm charging in terms of all the people, then I can still cover my business and not go a loss because I'm not lending my money. I'm lending your money, everybody. I'm just picking your money and lending out. So that's a risk. So that's now then happening. You find those kind of scenarios do exist. So when you come to even on the mobile side, there's a business. So we even have what we call Poti loans and Taasi loans, which we give now to business people. But that may not be enough because again, also remember, as a platform, we still have the fund providers or the credit providers who also taking the risk and they're saying, look, that risk is too high. So that mix then of where the demand is higher than the supply, the formal supply creates burnout like the Shylocks that he's talking about. And when you think about Shylocks, it's basically Peter himself deciding that I have 1 million shillings and I'm willing to lend. But at a ridiculous rate of 13%, 14%, and that kind of a thing. But it's a very... I'll let him talk about Shylocks. It's a very informal kind of an engagement. And sometimes they're not the best.
Sounds dangerous as well.
Yeah.
It is. So you find the formal credit side, as he has said, even for our case, when we are providing credit, we partner with financial institutions. So we partner with banks. And we say banks bring in the financing, we bring in the platform and help with the credit scoring, we help with the collections and so on. The banks then have to take the conscious decision on the lending. So we will do the credit scoring, we will agree, we'll score everyone, then the bank will say, okay, I'm willing to lend to these people only, not these others.
They then decide,
They then decide. And they will have hedged their, risks or whatever it is and decided this is okay. Then the work is on us to ensure we have multiple banks to cover, all the customers that we need to be covered. When you look at the business side, the banks are very hesitant. So
why?
Even what he has spoken about Taasi, which are business loans that we have tried to create. The banks still don't believe that there is enough data on these businesses to make correct, credit decisioning. Credit decisioning information for them. And they end up saying, okay, we'll either lend to a very little number of people, very few number of people or businesses, or we will price this one much higher than the way we are pricing for the consumer side. We try to have those conversations. Some succeed, some don't. And most businesses then end up having to get financing from informal areas.
Yeah.
It's not banks. Banks might be expensive, 18% per annum.
But
yeah,
18% per annum.
per annum. Still very high.
That's still very
It's
high.
quite
yeah.
high.
Yeah.
But very few businesses make it to the end.
Yeah.
To your example earlier of what you're going through. Yes,
Knowing
here we
yourself.
know you, we can see your shop, you know you're Kenyan, we have your identity and all your documents, but the bank still says,
No.
not yet.
And then now, just to add that before we go to the next stop, this is now brought in what you call the risk-based.
The
risk-based pricing.
okay.
Or the central bank
Yeah,
has
central bank.
introduced
Yeah.
that last month.
Yeah, it was
2
actually
months ago.
2 months ago, they've been pushing it. It was actually introduced a year ago. Some banks picked it, some banks have not picked it. So basically what's happening is they look at you and say, I think you can get a rate of 14%, 13%, but you're too risky. I'll give you 21%, 19%. So it's still quite high.
But that's very interesting, right? Because then would risk be based on, there's so much money going in and out every month, right? So there's less on the P&L, for example, or the cash
Not
flow is
really.
really high or really low?
Against the
or
business, right?
Is it a structure?
against
Is
the
it the
business.
sector?
It's a
Right
couple
now,
of
it's
things.
they
a couple of
they
things.
take in quite a number of parameters, but
Yeah.
they call it their internal, so they will never expose how they arrive at it. Yeah.
There's not
But
really a
again,
fair mechanism in play then to provide.
Yeah,
this
because
support.
again, you might find you're in the same industry with someone, but then based on the way the bank then scores you, you find that they say you're riskier.
Yeah.
But when you think about credit, there are two main things that they play out. Is one is your willingness to pay. That's the most. In terms of, have you had a loan before? Have you repaid that loan?
Yeah.
So you find that if you've never taken a loan, even your price is a risk. You're high risk because you don't know your behavior.
Yeah.
Of you pay. And then
Even if all your transactions have been good, at least
Yes.
the traditional banks would, that's the way they look at it.
yes.
Yeah.
And then the other one is ability to pay.
Yeah.
So if again you've not been doing your banking quite well, or you've not been using formal sectors to receive money, then you're also again told you don't have enough cash flow.
Yeah.
So what guys then do is the informal sector he's talking about. Now you go back to the informal sector.
To informal financing.
Yes.
And the
And it's even
informal
worse.
financing,
Yeah.
there's no pricing structure, there are no control mechanisms. Somebody will just look at you and say, okay, I'm giving my pricing at X. I, Peter, talk to some friends, we put money together. I hire a few people, Andrew and friends, say, go and get me anybody who wants credit. Your commission is X. Then I'm charging them 50%.
50% or whatever
Sounds like
it
a
is.
mafia deal kind of.
It is
sounds a bit,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It
I mean,
is
you
ridiculous.
get guys who charge you 10% per month.
Yeah.
And so the longer you stay with it. And then here's the thing, if you don't pay enough for the next month, that interest now becomes a cascading effect. It earns interest on interest. It's just crazy. And so those guys, you find the person end up paying 300,000 on top, but it's where they went to pick the credit.
Yeah.
And again, it's where they
They
could
have picked
have
like
picked the
where
credit.
else
Where
except
else?
here.
Yeah.
There wasn't another option.
There wasn't
Yes.
another. So this is an area we are looking at keenly.
Yeah.
We have term loans, but they're not long-term loans. They're just 30-day loans. Presently, the longest that we have. Quite popular. We have started conversations on should we consider longer-term loans for other customers for other use cases.
Yeah.
And we are working through that. We recently got, a person joining the team, the M-Pesa team here in Kenya to support on the credit side. She's called Viola. Defining how will this look like? Which type of partners do we need? What type of loans do we want to get into, and how do we structure this going forward? Because there is pain. There is real pain.
It's real pain. In the market, the demand is there. And again, the pain of the prepayment and where you're accessing the credit is there. So there's a lot of interest around that.
And this is an opportunity, if there are people interested to partner with us that are, say, from Europe or wherever it is, to provide accessible, affordable credit in the market, even if it is sector-based or for certain, use cases. We are open to have those discussions.
And you can provide the payment infrastructure.
Yeah, we can provide the payment
we know how to
infrastructure.
collect the funds.
So I mean, we are really exploring.
To do it here too.
Yeah. That would be really cool also for you guys to. Do you guys share a lot of materials on your, how you score usage and how payments move and which sectors are receiving, quick repayments or or less, that this kind of information would be incredibly valuable now as well.
If you're getting into a partnership, that's then of course you have NDAs into place. Because remember also there's a lot of data protection that you have to keep into place. But that's a regulation of it. The amount of data we have as Safaricom is a lot.
It's managed,
we also regulate it to ensure that we also keep that data safe and for our customers safe. So if it's a partnership, we are getting into a partnership with anyone, we are able to get into NDAs and share that information and analyze. Because so you, as bringing in money as an investor and saying, look, I want to bring in cash, just hypothetically speaking, let's using a bank for the sake of it. Let's say HSBC comes and says, look, we're willing to give this for this sector. Then we can have the discussion and see how does it look like, what does it mean. Just so it will also help you make a decision quite easily.
And what information would be important for them to be able to make the decision on their end. Those we can get it. We have done that for the partners we're with today.
So you're basically saying the door is open to become a credit investor in M-Pesa.
The door is open.
The door is open. Yeah. Come, let's have the conversation.
Nice. Interesting. Yeah. And what is your, because you guys have quite an ambitious plan. I heard you want to be Africa's most inclusive tech company. Purpose-led. Tell me a little bit more about what that means.
So if you think about purpose-led, what is our purpose? And our purpose is transforming lives. So we've spoken about just credit has been one of the things. Think about the fact that now, if you think about, we have what you call ZD. ZD is a savings plan. So as long as you have money in your system, you don't, in your wallet, you don't have to let it just in the wallet, you're earning nothing. You can be able to move it to a ZD wallet.
You can fight it against
which is the same wallet, and you can, and it's a money market fund, and you can earn some money. When you think about that, also we have gotten to the Nairobi Stock Exchange, where you can actually be able, using your mobile, you can today just buy shares and sell shares.
As little as one share.
You can start with one share.
A single share of any company listed in the Securities Exchange.
And when you think about it, what was the former process of buying shares in the Nairobi Stock Exchange? You have to go to a broker. Then there are a few of them. I think there are only 18 or 16 of them in the country. Then you have to open a CDSC account. Then after you open a CDSC account, you have to give your order there. Then you have to go to a physical place. You know, a few of them.
It's like me trying to open a bank account in France.
Yeah, exactly the same. The number of documents you need to bring and
so moving that now to the mobile. So that's again that kind of a life. So it gets into your life every day. So we also have insurance. We also have an arm that does insurance. And so if you think about the arm that does insurance, now you've gone to like the border guys you're talking about. How do you protect? Because every day, anyone in Kenya, and if you look at the borders driving, it's a very risky job. But you're saying, look, you might get sick or you might get into an accident. How do you protect your business? How do you protect yourself? So we have insurance products and your family. So we have insurance products, last mile. So we have an agency called CL, Safaricom Insurance Agency Limited, again regulated by IRA, Insurance Regulatory Authority, which then also handles that for the business. And it's not only individuals; it has all kind of insurances, even business insurance, individual insurances. You know, just health. Think about everything.
Cargo.
So putting all that
funerals can get quite expensive here as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So putting all those things together, then that comes in. That's from a perspective of now the wealth and also insurance. Then we have the international remittances coming through. So if you want to pay for your goods, even businesses now, you want to pay for your goods in whatever country it is. How do you facilitate that? So purposely in the sense of just getting into your life every day and ensuring that whatever kind of payment you want to make, right? Then we are facilitating
that not everything that could go wrong can financially ruin you or your access that you may have to the next step.
Those things come in. And we're putting all that in a platform. The fact that even you, who's flying in as Ivan, into the country and they're saying, look, I've landed in Kenya. The only thing I have is an Alipay wallet, or the only thing I have is an Apple Pay wallet, or anything I have today is just my
credit card or
my credit card or debit card. Then how do I link into the system? So that's something that you will see probably by the time this podcast comes out, then that will be live. So just be able to link your card and join the ecosystem and pay. So when you talk about Africa's purpose-led, it's just saying then again, remember, we are not in Kenya today only, we also have Ethiopia, right? And also we sit in other markets as Vodacom who owns us. So then how do you take all these facilities and just make payments seamless for anything that you want to pay? Your lifestyle every day that you want to do. Saying, how do you make that? So that's our purpose. Purpose is transforming lives. So we want to be a purpose-led technology company by 2030. So that's what it is. Whatever it is you're building, whatever it is you're doing, the person right there in the middle of it is a customer.
The thing I would add is we think of ourselves as trying to connect people to people via communication and everything else.
Payments,
people to knowledge via providing data access to internet, access to, things that they would typically not be exposed to unless they have, and people to opportunities. Like you are trying to do business, we are speaking about
money.
you're trying
That's
to do
just the way
something.
it is, yeah.
Then we connect you to, and we have found the only way to seamlessly do that here is through technology. And that's why we said we want to be a purpose-led, leading purpose-led technology company in Africa, so that everything we are doing is helping you to transform life, helping you to connect with people, connect with knowledge, connect with your opportunities, and transform you to the next level of who you want to be. Whether you are an individual or a business, that's where we want to be. And that's, we power it through technology. Today we have what we have, we evolve it to also include other technologies, AI, machine learning, and so on. But that is the theme that drives us. So we don't get lost in doing a fancy product. We are very clear that what we want to do, as Andrew said, customer at the center, what works for them, what needs do they have, where are they unmet, how can we make that,
Which
much
is a core
better.
reason why you're not a classic bank.
Yes,
And
we are not
a
a classic.
What was it called?
Shylock.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we are
also
not also
on top
a
of
classic
that,
telecommunication company anymore. We are a technology enabler, infrastructure provider, if you might call it so, platform for all intents and purposes.
And on top of that, it's just not all about business. So part of transforming lives is also now going back and saying to the community that has given to us what we do. So we run two foundations. There's a Safaricom Foundation and an M-Pesa Foundation, which are huge. And out of that, some of the things we've done, if you look at it, and sponsorships, so foundation sponsorship. So when you think at it, is we just launched something about Citizens of the Future. And what is that for us? Citizens of the Future is we've said what the one most important thing that you need in life is education. And so there are schools in the country that are in very bad states. So how then do we help the schools? So we carry out projects where then we rehabilitate schools, and those schools then become better learning areas for the children in that area, because we don't know what the children are going to be in the future. We're also training teachers. And I think it's either 500 teachers per year. I'm not sure about the number, but teachers who are going to be trained around technology, so that also they can be able to give that back and train the students who are coming up. We're also sponsoring needy students for education, right? And at the end of it all, in the next 3 years, is a plan that in the next 3 years, then how many are we going to be sponsored on an annual basis? Nice. And that means that even if you don't have to be in school and think, even if I do well, my parents can't afford. And it's natural, that happens, right? Not everyone can be able to afford the school fees. But using this, then you're able also to give you school fees, and you're able to go to school, so you're able to pay for your school fees. So those kind of things then come up. The environment for us as an ability is big. So not only that, so purpose-led in the sense of just thinking about how do you make life easy for everyone. So we're involved in a lot of projects that are community environmental projects that we do. Sponsorships, we're also in sports. There's the idea we did sponsored Chapadimba, which basically is football. Dimba is football. And it's from the grassroots. And just ensuring that you sponsor these children. As you're playing football, you have a talent. Talent are different. There are people who get A's in class, and they can play football.
But you need to give opportunity to talent to be
able
to grow.
So we sponsor rugby,
we do,
athletics, and like that.
Passion points, which is, sports, athletics, and so on. A lot of sponsorships in those music, art, and such. Then, of course, there are what community needs, which, our healthcare has had a challenge for a long time. Government now is trying to do quite a bit to digitize and make it better. But healthcare has been a big...
Healthcare access, health tech.
Healthcare access, health tech, with special focus on maternal care and early childhood. Second, education he has spoken about. The quality of education, the ability for everybody to have the same level of exposure to technology, to the future or the current operating environment. Very few schools, and I don't know if you'll get a chance to visit some of the schools, have that type of infrastructure. So we saw that as an opportunity. So education is the other. Environment, as a sustainable business, we want to make sure the environment is key. And economic
empowerment.
Sure
you know what they're charging their phones with. It's got to be renewable energy.
Exactly. And as well as some of the e-waste, people use their phones for a period of time, we help to bring that back as opposed to having the things lying around and so on. So environment is key for us. But our operations also used to rely very heavily on diesel because we have to power base stations for connectivity in many places which are off grid. And we didn't have, effective solutions at the time. So a lot of our network has been on generators, for service availability. We are now moving that into a lot more of solar and green, green power sources.
We're the first company to issue a green bond.
Oh, yeah, in Kenya.
In Kenya, we issued a
green bond.
For around 40 billion.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Where the loan has commitments on actual stuff we will do on the green, green energy, green side of life.
What you're talking about, the BTSs or the base stations, changing all of them from diesel into green energy. So we are committing so when you think about purpose-led, that's what it is. By 2030, all our base stations will not be operating on diesel at all. It's a 5-year bond, and we went to the market, and it was actually oversubscribed.
Yeah,
it was oversubscribed. Significantly oversubscribed.
140-something percent oversubscribed. So.
147% or
something. Very good interest. Yeah.
So
and the last
those
pillar,
are the kind of things then we look at.
The last pillar in sustainability is empowerment. And economic empowerment is where we are creating those opportunities for people who want to be entrepreneurs, don't have opportunities. The formal environment has only a limited number of jobs. So how do we allow everybody else to get something sensible, something they're proud of? And we are investing in those opportunities for them
Providing
as well.
women with access to finance.
Exactly. Youth as well.
The funny thing is, we're talking about youth. Just think about even Nyota Zetu. We just launched something called Nyota Zetu with the government, where basically you're empowering the youth to be able to get funds from the government, but through our platform.
Seed companies, seed funding.
It's called Nyota Zetu, and it's through our technology, right? If you look at the medical medical scheme, then you're the ones who've been able to digitize that to ensure that everyone can be able to get some access to. So we provide the platform. You have the idea, but we provide the platform. So purpose-led, that's what we're talking about. Just talking about ensuring
truly
transforming people's lives.
Proper impact in your daily life.
With biometrics now, even if there's with the government and the SHA, you just go to hospital, instead of carrying cards, with the biometrics, you're able to access your medical cover from the government.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So those are the things. So when you talk about purpose-led,
you're surprising me. Like I wish we had that. Yeah.
So these are the things you're talking about when you talk about purpose-led technology company. Just thinking being in every section, not only business. So it's more of that model of where you're breaking down, say, purpose in terms of the environment. How you're doing it, people feeling. People is both staff and also the customers. Access to it, and then also, of course, profits, because you need profits to be able to do all these things. So it's more of that kind of a triple P kind of an approach.
So what would be a core lesson that you guys would give to European investors or European institutions based on you guys are very proud of the model. I'm proud of your model. I think it's
thank you.
What would be a core lesson you would give to the West on these types of systems, or information you think they might be missing, which could change their perception of how it actually goes here?
If I would go first, I would say the fact that there's what we see on TV. Shown that there's that level of needs. But there's a lot of development that has happened across Africa, not only Kenya, not only East Africa, but across Africa. The very main development. And there's a lot of opportunity that is around here. Brains are there, systems are there, the willingness is there. So I would say from a West perspective is how then do you come in and partner and be able to say, look, what can we do together? It's not more of you need to do this, because there's a lot of development that has happened across, right? From even if you look at the model today we're talking about from an M-Pesa perspective, it's already gone, but the systems are there. So you're talking even about saying, come and invest here in the country and talk to us, for example, credit will help you. If you want to do about sustainability or giving loans for sustainability, come. It's there. The infrastructure does exist. So
don't come in here trying to build an infrastructure, try to work with the infrastructure that has been built in this unique...
Assuming there is nothing.
Don't assume there's nothing. It already does exist, and it's working. Let's come, sit down with the various institutions. Is there a need? Need is there. Need is there, true. The kind of photos we see where there are places in this country where people still, the basic needs is a need. Food is a need, water is a need.
Food, water, energy, access, sleep.
That's standard. It's there. Yeah. But are there systems and are there people who have gotten into those areas and they need help and they can be able to do it? Yes, they are. So just come in the country, have an open mind to know that systems do exist, access is there, talk to the right organizations, and we'll be able to then deliver whatever you require to deliver. But don't think that there's nothing. There is a lot.
Yeah, I would add there. Don't assume first that nothing exists that we have spoken about, but also understand that it will be different from what you're used to. So be ready to learn and adopt to something different, but something that already works. I have seen most of the companies come and say, oh, this is the way we do it. It needs to work this way. If it doesn't, we can't work. That definitely, or they try to force it to work, it ends up failing. So adapting to what is there and being able to integrate seamlessly, but still meet what you want to do, that is like very powerful. Second is the understanding that there is talent and people who are willing to learn. That it is not about trying to bring, foreign ideology and hoping it will adapt. It's taking the people who are there that you find talent in the area of interest for you and giving them the ethos or the ideology, the platform that you want them to, and then supporting them to get you to the place you'll be, you will succeed. There are many companies which have come and followed that model, and their success is significant. Those which try to drive, certain types of this is the way it is globally, it has to be, then Africa ends up being a very disappointing market. And the third thing I would say is Africa is not one. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
How many languages on this continent?
Just in Kenya alone is about 52, yeah?
Actually, in Kenya is 52 or 54.
I'm really glad we're doing this one in English.
Yes. So being able to identify that, yes, something has worked in one market may not necessarily work in another. The regulations in one may not necessarily be the same in another. That really helps you as an investor coming into Africa, looking at Africa as a whole, to know that you need to be nuanced and different for every market.
That's what he's saying about the regulation and the culture. Engaging with the right organization, the right people in those countries will help you scale. I know
you need to have a local in your.
You need to have to, yes.
Whether it's a partner or as somebody who can guide, direct, or not maybe direct is too strong, but give you access to the right people, to the right decision makers, and lead you to the right places is very important.
It's very important. Some countries have actually put in a regulation that even as a foreign country, company, you come into Africa or into that country, then you must have some local participation. What is important is just make sure you get the right participation.
You can't just take value out of the continent anymore. You have to build it up here
as well.
Because we've seen that people come and just pick any person, for lack of a better word, and then you just put, because you have to say I have local representation, but then you end up failing. So you have to get the
2-3 years
right partnerships into it.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. I could keep talking about this for a long time, but I have a final question because we're on narrative and perception. So, you've already given us a lot of answers, but could you perhaps in one word tell me what Africa is, what Kenya is and what Kenya isn't when it comes to perception?
Wow, in one word. I would say Kenya is, I'd use two words, allow me to use two, talented and developed.
Talented and developed.
Yes. What it is not is not in dire need.
Sorry?
It's not in dire need.
It's not in dire need.
Yeah, it's not in dire need. That's those are the photos you see everywhere that we're in dire need. You're not in dire need, but you're talented and developed. So there's a lot of opportunity. Yeah, that's what I would say.
For me, Kenya is vibrant, extremely.
I can agree on that.
What it's not, depiction of the rest of Africa.
True.
True also. I find people telling us Kenya is like the US of Africa in terms of very many things. Maybe not, the development side, but the freedoms that we have. People can do almost anything. We have spoken about the financial side, etc., access to credit and so on. It's very easy in Kenya. But also the political environment is one that allows you to do anything that you want. It is liberal, it is open, you can challenge.
Open market access.
Open market access. No, unlike many African countries. any person from any part of the world can come here and set up a business in a few days without a problem. Tourism, anybody can come in for a day or two just to relax without much of a problem.
Every day.
So, but it's not typical in many parts of Africa. Yeah.
In the words of our president, Kenya is a feeling.
Kenya is a feeling.
It's a feeling. You must feel it. You must
I
experience
agree.
it to understand it. It's
and
a feeling.
And now we're going to the tourism advertising.
Yeah.
Experience. What was it again? Tukende? Discover? What is the word discover in Swahili? There's the destination Africa, like discover, hashtag discover Kenya.
Oh, the Magical Kenya.
Magical Kenya theme.
Theme.
Yes.
What is the word again?
Tembea Kenya?
Tembea Kenya.
Is it?
Do you guys speak Swahili? Does anyone here speak Swahili?
Well, we all speak Swahili. Let's remember what it
Swahili.
is. It's Tembea Kenya.
Tembea
It's Tembea Kenya. It's Tembea Kenya.
Tembea Kenya.
Yeah,
Discover
visit Kenya.
Visit
Kenya.
Visit
Discover Kenya. Tembea Kenya.
Tembea Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
Tembea basically means walk.
Walk?
Or, walk. So visit Kenya.
Well, Tembea is a Swahili word that can be used in many ways.
Many ways.
Because when I'm telling you, Havana, come and visit me, I'll tell you,
Nitembele.
Nitembele. Tembea kwangu. Which means come and visit my house or come and visit me.
Okay.
So it's one word which has
very many
multiple.
But all is about movement from one place to another.
It's about visiting.
Movement from
And Kenya is vibrant.
Yeah.
And
There's
Kenya
a lot
is
of
extremely
movement.
vibrant. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you for having us.